Hello everyone, welcome to our present presentation on multinational corporation strategies and risk mitigation. My name is Amel, or you can call me Amalia, and I am representing the corporate executive perspective of fast retailing, the parent company of UNIQLO. In today's global political economy, the expansion of a multinational corporation, or we can call it MNC, is no longer a simple calculation of market profits. We identify a crucial business gap in Indonesia, a structural asymmetry between global market demands for massive liveware, production efficiency, and rising non-commercial domestic pressures regarding the overproduction, labor rights, and decarbonization mandates.
Hello, I'm Kena Tania Chan, representing the host country regulator as a government official from Indonesia. From the perspective of national economic governance, this business gap challenges our regulatory sovereignty. On one hand, Indonesia requires foreign direct investment from global retail giants like UNIQLO to stimulate our GDP growth. But on the other hand, we must safeguard our domestic market from textile deindustrialization and ecological exploitation.
Hello, and I'm Farah, representing a human rights and environmental advocacy NGO. From the civil society perspective, we view this gap through the lens of accountability. Historically, MNCs have engaged in regulatory arbitrage within the developing nations, exploiting regional sets such as a low-cost labor without internalizing environmental costs. This is where the UNIQLO's business diplomacy and social responsibility are truly tested.
To mitigate this operational risk and close the gap, UNIQLO restructures our value chain through a vertically integrated specialty store retailer of private label apparel, or we can call it SPA model. We exercise strict end-to-end control over our value chain, from pioneering material research with a global synthetic fiber manufacturers to AI-driven inventory control and direct-to-consumer retail operation. By eliminating third-party brokers in Indonesia, we minimize raw material price volatility and supply chain disruptions.
Your vertical value chain is commercially superior, Amel. However, a critical critic using Porter's 5 forces reveals a challenging market structure in Indonesia. Why? The bargaining power of buyers here is exceptionally high. Indonesian customers are highly price sensitive and possess a vast array of alternative choices, ranging from the local fast fashion brands to a booming thrift shopping culture. Furthermore, the threat of a substitutes from local, ethical, community-based clothing brand is rising. Therefore, if UNIQLO's vertical value chain is associated with unfair factory wages or textile wastewater pollution, you risk losing your social license to operate. In this context, corporate social responsibility transforms from a mere philanthropic cost into a strategic shield to defend your market position against the 5 competitive forces.
Farah's point is highly valid, and it's correlated directly with the authority level of the home office versus the host country. In this era of globalization, state sovereignty remains resilient, while fast retailing's home office in Tokyo retains absolute authority over global design, microfinance, and brand identity. They must yield to sovereign authority of the host country here in Indonesia. We enforce strict regulatory compliance, including national standardization certificate, textile import quotas with minimum wage laws, and AMDAL environmental waste management compliance. UNIQLO cannot simply copy-paste its Tokyo playbook into our domestic ecosystem.
We fully agree, Ms. Kena. Our political risk mitigation strategy relies precisely on adapting to those regulations. When analyzed through Porter's diamond theory, Indonesia offers outstanding factor conditions, specifically a large-scale, highly skilled manufacturing workforce and access to raw materials. Through the lens of related and supporting industries, the islands of Java possesses a highly mature, integrated textile industrial cluster. By aligning our global authority with Indonesian governance, UNIQLO implements technology transfers and rigorous compliance audits across our local partner factories. This measure does not merely guarantee our legal compliance, It simultaneously upgrades the capacity of Indonesia textile industry to compete in global supply chains.
The question then becomes whether these partnerships genuinely contribute to regional development or merely exploit a regional asset. Historically, many MNCs have adopted an extractive approach, treating developing nations strictly as a regional asset to secure cheap overhead and labor for global profits through regional development demands and socioeconomic integrations have that leaves a long-term positive impact on the communities surrounding your operations.
That is a sharp and necessary critique, Ms. Feira. It is precisely why we overhauled our business model canvas, or we can call it BMC, for Indonesian operation to ensure the creation of shared value. In our key partnership block, we have integrated non-commercial actors such as local communities and environmental NGOs. In our value proposition block, we redefine our product not just as clothing but as a commitment to sustainability. We translate this social and environmental risk mitigation into two concrete programs. First, the RE.UNIQLO initiative. We mitigate post-consumption waste risk by installing recycle boxes across all Indonesian stores. Wearable clothes are redistributed to vulnerable groups in partnerships with local NGOs, while unwearable garments are recycled into new fibers or alternative fuel, directly contributing to carbon reduction. Second, our neighborhood initiative promotes regional development by allocating free exhibition spaces within our flagship stores for local Indonesian creative MSMEs, or we can call it OMKM in Indonesia. This transforms our presence from assets attraction to regional empowerment.
From the regulatory perspective, this strategic adaptation within the BMC satisfy our national policy goals. When a multinational corporation aligns its business model with national development, voluntarily mitigates its environmental footprint, and strengthen local economic capacity, the political tension between market interests and state regulation of this solves into a harmonious collaboration.
In a conclusion, a successful global expansion strategy in the modern era cannot be separated from the local socio-political context. By aligning a vertical value chain with host country authority and embedding genuine sustainability into the business model canvas, or BMC, a corporation can effectively mitigate global risk while acting as a catalyst for positive regional development. Thank you to Ms. Kane and Ms. Feira for this highly analytical dialogue today.